Okay, why don't we go ahead and get started, please? I want to welcome everybody here to the MDIBL Science Cafe. Our speaker this evening is Dr. Hermann Haller. He is a professor of medicine and a chief of nephrology and hypertension at Hanover University in Berlin, actually in Hanover, Germany, sorry. Hermann got his MD in 1982 from the Free University of Berlin in Berlin, Germany. From there, he went on to do postdoctoral research at Yale University. And Dr. Haller has been an adjunct faculty at MDIBL now for many years, where he runs a research program that utilizes a tiny aquarium fish called the zebrafish to study chronic kidney disease. And last year, he launched a very important program here in Maine called REMAIN, which is a program that's focused on using mice and zebrafish to try to understand the genetic basis of kidney disease, trying to utilize that as tools to then move that information into clinical studies in humans. And I think one of the interesting things about Hermann is in 1979, he apparently decided to change his course of a life path, but he actually got a degree in art history from the Free University of Berlin before going on into medicine and science. And what he's going to talk about tonight is actually the combining of those two things. He's going to talk about the fine art of medical diagnosis, man, mice, and fish.
Thank you, Kevin, for the kind introduction, and thank you for bringing us all here. We have a little bit of problem that the day is too nice for displaying these pieces of art on the computer. It should be raining and it should be half dark, but I think we can do this. What you see here is a painting by Rubens, and we'll come back to this painting because the theme of today will be how to diagnose. And when I asked this morning a member of the lab, is this man sick? She looked at me and she said, how do I know? You are the doctor. And that will be our problem, and we'll talk about the question, is this man sick? What can we see? Because diagnosis means both things, to see through and to understand. So this is what we do here on the island, to try to understand disease, and I'll use paintings for an introduction into the biomedical research. This is not novel. Harvard does the same thing. They have a course, not for everybody, but for medical students who are interested in that. They take them to the museum and they watch together paintings. And then afterwards they evaluate this, and they are much better doctors when they have looked at paintings, because this is what it's all about. You have to look. And this is what we start with. I thought, we take something which is more understandable, because almost everybody knows Mona Lisa. Before we go into medical diagnosis, and you can already start looking at her and trying to think, what's wrong? Does she have a disease? Because I'll tell you, we'll diagnose her, and there are certain problems, and she should see a cardiologist, if a cardiologist would have been around at that time. It was about 120 years before she could have seen one. This painting is Renaissance painting. And in order to understand diagnosis in paintings, you have to have paintings where the human body or the human person is central. In modern art, if I would show you a Picasso here, it would be much more difficult. All of you would agree there is some psychiatry illness or something else, but we talk now about real diagnosis, and this means that the human body, and this is what we call humanism,